Hey YouTube, what's going on? Um, it's later, and I'm smoking the MacBaren Norwood, and this here, Tracy Mincer, kind of a squat tomato, I guess, but those really nice early deep rustications. See if I can get you a look at that nomenclature. Oh, I almost had it for a minute. Come on now, there you go. Tracy Mincer. What a pipe befitting of such a blend. A lot of pipe smokers back in the day smoked a lot of burley forward and straight burley blends. Hope you're all not too mad at me for that last video about the whole thing being an exclusive. So as a result, I really don't want to make this one too long, but just kind of give you like my first impressions of what I think about the blend. I started without yous, and I'm most of the way through this bowl. Um, and my first impressions are I like it. Is it some phenomenal, multi-dimensional, outrageous blend? No. Maybe that's why it was discontinued back in 2014. I don't know. It is just a very straightforward, generic, burley-based blend that has a little bit of the Virginia in it. Tobacco Reviews doesn't mention anything about any kind of toppings on it, although most of us know that almost all MacBaren tobaccos, save for maybe the HH line, had some sort of a sugar casing on it to help bring out any kind of natural sweetness and stuff. Now, how much that affects a tobacco like this that's aged in a tin for 15 years, I don't know. But it is good. Um, I would go out on a limb and say that this definitely could be an all-day smoker, you know, if it was still readily available and all of that sort of stuff. As far as MacBaren's description of like a chocolate flavor, I don't get that. What I get with the burley is more of like a dry cocoa type of a note in the taste. You know, maybe the smell of the tobacco itself, maybe someone can pick up notes of a chocolate or something like that. I don't. I get kind of like that raisiny type of smell. In terms of the room note, however, I will say this. I did have to step out briefly to go check up on something and was out of the garage here for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And when I came back in, I will tell you that what the room note definitively smelled like was cigarette smoke. It wasn't like an offensive cigarette smoke. I used to smoke cigarettes years ago for a pretty long time. I smoked cigarettes for about 20, at least 20 years. I smoked like Marlboro Light, but primarily I wound up smoking like Parliament Lights was my go-to cigarette of choice. And nowadays when I'm out and about, if I happen to walk past someone who's smoking the cigarettes, most of the time I don't care for the smell of the cigarettes, but you got to remember that cigarettes are heavily dosed with a lot of other BS that doesn't really need to belong in there. And probably the reason why the smell of this burley blend isn't offensive on that same kind of level as cigarettes today is probably because of the fact that it's more of just a pure tobacco leaf and it's much cleaner, right? So I will say that. I wouldn't say it's totally one dimensional just because it's primarily burley. Every now and then you do get a little bit of an extra pop of the sweetness from the Virginia that's added. A little bit, not a lot. It's here and there, and it's subtle, but it's there, and it's not that citrusy. It's more of like that type of hay note flavor that you would get from some Virginias, right? No frills, burley. Sometimes you can't go wrong with such blends. Um, it could be smoked all year round. It could be smoked throughout the day. I'm not someone who smokes throughout the entire day, multiple bowls a day, but anybody who's a fan of burley blends, um, you know, the Joe Krantz and the Haunted Bookshop, it's mild. It's not heavy nicotine or anything like that, but it's good. It's enjoyable. When you just want something simple. So that's kind of why I made this video about this blend. I know it's no longer available. It's no longer being produced, but it just happened to be something that caught my eye at my local brick and mortar that I shop at. And I made the video and I'm making this one because should you happen to be out somewhere and come across it and you're a fan of the burley blends and you've never had it, never tried it, um, like I said, it was discontinued in 2014. So at the very least, you're going to be, if you find it, you're going to be acquiring and smoking a tin that has at least that much of age on it. And this is where like a bone of contention might come in amongst pipe smokers, right? Because like I said in the other video and in other videos, I've always mentioned it, it's pipe smoking is all very subjective. Do I think burleys age on the same kind of level that like Virginias do? No, I don't. But I've seen videos of plenty of presenters here in the YTPC that have attested to significantly aged burley just having somewhat of a rounder, smoother, sometimes even better flavor to them, I guess, according to whatever burley blends they would normally smoke. I don't know. You let me know. If you're someone who likes burleys, if you've had this, or if you agree with the previous statements or you don't, put that information down in the comments. Like, let anybody who happens to come across this video read the comments, see and decide for themselves. Should they come across this blend in a brick and mortar shop or at a pipe show or something like that? I happen to think it's pretty good. I'll say this. I think it's definitely better than half and half or velvet, and I happened to like velvet pretty decent. I've bought cans of velvet in the past, right? So, to each his own. I think it's pretty good. Just wanted to get that out there. Follow up. You will all probably never see me turn around videos this quickly ever again. But I wanted to get it in because I'm going to be a little bit busy for the remainder of this week. But next week, I hope to get another video in, the one that I was planning on doing today and not this one. I'm hoping to get to that, hopefully early or latest by, middle of next week. And we'll take it from there. All right. So till then, be good.